Hey everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, in this week's guitar lesson, we're going to take a look at a classic Elmore James style rhythm and lead played on electric guitar. And I'm going to show you how to simulate some of those Elmore James slide licks without using a slide. And that's a great technique to learn for your electric lead playing. We're also going to be taking a look at a jam track that's a little bit unique in that it has a beginning and an end. So we're going to learn a classic blues intro and outro, which is something we don't normally do here at Active Melody. We usually just jump into the licks and put those in context, but it is important to know how to start and end a song, and so we're going to learn that as well. So if you'd like to watch the part 2 video, in this video we're going to learn the first half, and as well as download the MP3 jam track to practice with, and download the tablature, and have access to the on-screen tab viewer, you can get all of that at ActiveMelody.com. Just look for EP122. That's a lesson number for this lesson. So let's go ahead and get started with part 1. Alright, so let's talk through tone settings real quick. I'm playing on the Stratocaster, and I have the pickup on the middle pickup with the tone and the volume all the way up at 10. And I'm running through 2 pedals. I've got one which is a Tube Screamer TS808 pedal by Ibanez, and I have the overdrive, the level, and the tone all set at about 70%. And then I'm running out of that pedal into a Deluxe Memory Man pedal, which is made by Electro Harmonics. And the only reason I'm using that's sort of just to get a little bit of an echo. It has kind of a vintage feel to me. Now there's some chorus applied as well. I'm not going to go through all the settings on the Memory Man, but I wanted to mention that because I know some of you will hear that in the tone. Now you don't have to have the Memory Man pedal at all. In fact, Elmore James, obviously he wouldn't have had any pedals. He would have just plugged straight into an amplifier. So just get whatever kind of overdriven sound you can get and go with that. I just wanted to mention my settings because I always get people asking, what is that you're playing through? So that's exactly what I'm using. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, the song is in the key of E, and it's just kind of a straightforward 12-bar blues, very predictable format. I did throw in an intro and an outro, which is a little different than the normal format. I think it's important that we start learning some of these things, and I know that some of you have suggested those as well, so I think that's a great suggestion. The intro starts like this. It's almost got kind of that Muddy Waters kind of thing, but it's played a little differently. But anyway, we're starting with, as I mentioned, the song's in the key of E, so we're starting with some single strings, and we're going to build. It builds by just playing some single strings, and then real quickly we jump into this this slide part, and it just, to me, that's such a powerful intro, and it just really sets the whole thing up in a kind of a nice way. So let's go through these single notes. So we're starting with a low 6 string, or the low E string. It's a downstroke with the right hand. We're going to come up to the 4th fret 6 string, then the 2nd fret 5th string, 4th fret 5th string, and you can see I'm sliding up to that with my ring finger, that 2nd note. And then the last note is on the 2nd fret 4th string. And so you can see it's making a nice little box here. So it's easy to play, easy to remember. You're just kind of playing every other fret. You're skipping that 3rd fret. The only other thing to point out is the picking with the right hand. I'm just doing alternate picking, down, up stroke. So the first 2 are downstrokes. There's an upstroke. And there's the upstroke as well. Now we're going to do that 3 times. Now on the 3rd time it goes like this. So those are triplets. Triplet, triplet, triplet. And you'll see that notated in the tab. You'll see a little bracket underneath them, underneath the quarter notes with a 3. That means a triplet. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And what sort of defines it a little bit is doing this hammer on here. So the note that we're playing is the 2nd fret 4th string. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then watch this. See the little hammer on there? Now you can do all downstrokes or you can do alternate picking. To me, it's easier to do downstrokes because when you come up to this, you're going to be doing downstrokes anyway. So you're kind of getting your hand already in motion for that. So that's how I'm doing it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to come up and we're going to, it's kind of a call and response type thing where that's the call. Now the response is going to be the slide part. Now obviously this would be where Elmore would have a slide and he would be tuned actually in a different tuning. He'd probably be in an open G tuning and come up to this 12th fret here with a slide. But what we're going to do is we're going to play, it's the equivalence of playing an E bar chord with the bar being on the 12th fret, but we're not going to do the whole bar because we don't need to play all 6 strings. So we're going to bar the first 2 strings on the 12th fret, and then my middle finger goes down on the 13th fret, 3rd string, and my ring finger goes down on the 14th fret, 4th string. And we're going to play those top 4 strings. Now, just to help you make that chord easier or quicker, just think of making an F chord. A lot of you know how to make an F chord down in first position. Maybe you've made it like that. This is the same principle as that. You're just not playing all 5 strings. You're playing 4. And what that allows you to do then is play that E chord at a high registry. So you can go. And now here's the other thing that really gives it that slide feel is playing the notes. So it's the same triplet thing. Triplet, triplet, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All downstrokes, but then you can hear how I'm redefining it each time by sliding into it, just like I would if I had a slide. And Elmore does that. If you listen to the way he approaches slide, he always he does a lot of this triplet stuff. Okay, so let me back up, and we'll play all the way up to this point. So we have. Oh, let me also tell you how to count this in, and you'll hear this, and you can see this on the tab, and also on the on-screen tab viewer. But for those of you that don't have access to that, it's 1, 2, 3. So it's coming in on the and of 3. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. So once we get to this note, the 2nd fret, 4th string, that is the 1 of the first measure. So think of it as sort of a pickup measure. 2, 3, 2, 3. Now we come right down to the A. So what I did from the E, slid it down if you can. If you can't, you can let go of it and just come down here and play the A chord. The only reason I'm sliding, I'm trying to simulate a slide thing. In a slide, you would do that. You would just slide it down. Easy to do with a slide. Not as easy to do with frets in the way. So you're going to come real quick from the 12th fret all the way down, back down to first position. And what we do here is bar the first 4 strings on the 2nd fret, but we're going to play strings 5, 4, and 3. So we're going to start off actually just playing 5 and 4. And I'm using some palm muting as well. You'll hear that the strings don't ring out like this. They go like this. Hear that chunky sound? And if you ever listen to Elmore James's what he's doing when he's playing, after he's doing his slide licks, he does this very repetitive kind of chunky rhythm thing that's really cool, and he puts a little shuffle to it like this. I love that. It's so cool. So I'm going to show you that too, but let's start with the A, and we're going to do strings 5 and 4. So it's just downstrokes, down, down. Now I use my pinky. Some of you may want to use your ring finger here on the 4th fret, 4th string, keeping this bar down. So we're going to continue playing strings 5 and 4. So it's 5 and 4. So let's get that going first. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2 of each. So, okay, so that's the A part. Now watch this. A little bit of Keith Richards in there, and I can't help myself because I love how Keith does his chords, but what I'm doing is keeping the bar down, and I'm making, really that's a D chord, but the way that I'm doing it, with the bar down, my ring finger goes down on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and my middle finger goes down on there, and then my ring finger goes down on the 4th fret, 4th string, And if you play all, you could actually play all 5 strings, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's a D chord. It's a different way to make it. So if you look at a D chord, it looks like that, right? Well, it's the same, you're playing those same notes, you're just adding this extra note in here. And the way that you think of that chord is how it goes off this bar here. So you can just real quickly hammer that on. It's easy to do. Okay, so back to the A. And the way that I'm doing that is playing the 5 and 4, coming up here and hitting the 2nd string, just like that with an upstroke, and then we're back to the 5 and 4, and then letting go of that. So like this. Let me do it slowly. See it? And that's how you get that kind of shuffle thing going. And if you ever listen to a song like It Hurts Me Too or any of those Elmore James slide songs, when he's going into when he's not playing the slide, and that's what he would do over the vocal. That's how he's playing the rhythm. Really cool. Now obviously his guitar again would be in an open tuning, so he would be fingering it a little differently, but that's what he's doing. Okay, so from the A, we're gonna come out of that and we're gonna go back up to this higher registry for the E part. This time, however, we're not gonna play the chord like this. We're gonna only play 2 strings. We're gonna play the 1st and 2nd string. And the way that you fret this is your pointer finger goes down on the 10th fret 1st string, and your ring finger goes down on the 12th fret 2nd string. So it's gonna have a little bit of a different feel to it, but again, this is something I've heard Elmore James do, and I got this lick directly from him, especially this. I love that, the way he resolves that. So once we get these 2 fingers down, we're going to do the same little sliding technique. So we're going to go, it's going to be triplet, triplet, triplet. And each time you do a triplet, you're sliding into it to define it. I'm sorry, it's every 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that time you only do 3. 1, 2, 3. And then watch this. And what I'm doing for that is I'm keeping these 2 fingers down. I'm putting my pinky down on the 12th fret 1st string. Then I'm coming down to the 2nd string, letting go of my pinky, and then taking my middle finger and coming down to the 12th fret 3rd string and pushing it slightly sharp. So it goes. And you can see with the right hand, it's just down, up, down, up. So if we put it all together, that part, it goes. Okay? And that's the E played over the E part. So let me back up and play from the A. Now right after that, what I do is I come right back down to 1st position, and I'm going to play the E power chord. So remember we were doing the A chord like this with strings 5 and 4. We're going to do that same principle, but we're going to play strings 6 and 5. So now I'm going to bar the first 5 strings here, and I'm going to play the open 6th string and the 2nd fret 5th string here. So we have. So the challenge will be going from here all the way down to here and keeping it fluid. Now it's a lot easier to do with the jam track, and that's, you have the band that's covering you. You have bass player and piano and drums and things. So, but by yourself it can be tricky. And play that first note, just the open E string, because it gives you a chance to go. To take your hand off the fretboard and then put it in position. Now we come to the B7th part, and for that I go. So let's learn that. Pretty easy to do. We're keeping with the slide theme, so we're playing these chunky chords, these triplet chords, and what I'm doing is I'm barring the first 2 strings on the 7th fret, and then I take my middle finger and go to the 8th fret 3rd string, and I'm just playing those top 3 strings. Now you can see if I were to play a B bar chord, these would be the top 3 strings out of that bar chord. There's just no point in making the whole chord. You just need these 3. So, and it makes it easier to slide it around and to get to it. So we slide into it, triple it, 1, 2, 3, and then watch this. So then there's a walk down. So we start here on the 9th fret 1st string, 8th fret, and then 7th fret. So we have 1, 2, 3, 9, 8, 7, all on the 1st string. And then I come down and play and do that same. Now this is the same shape that we were doing when we played the E part, but I'm doing it here now instead. So my pointer finger is on the 5th fret 1st string, and my ring finger is on the 7th fret 2nd string. And I play it 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me back up, and we have from the start of the B, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That, and the reason I just did 4 is that gives me a chance to take a breath, or move my fingers to the next position, which would be the same thing we did here, but we're going to play it now over an A. Remember, your A bar chord would be on the 5th fret, so now we're just going to bar the first 2 strings on the 5th fret, and then middle finger goes down on the 6th fret 3rd string. So we're going to play 1, 2, 3 of those. From the B. Now we're going to do the same little walk down. So there it is, 7, 6, and 5, the fret numbers. 7, 6, 5, all in the 1st string. Now watch this. These are the notes we're going to learn now. So we're going to come down to 1st position. We're going to play the 3rd fret 1st string, 2nd fret 1st string, open 1 string, 2nd fret 2nd string, open 2 string, or the open B string, and then the open 1 string. So we have from the A, guitar's out of tune, and then after we hit that open 1 string, I come down and hit that same note but an octave lower, so I play the open 6th string, which is also an E. Just like that. And my hand naturally kind of goes into the E chord shape there, although I'm not going to play an E chord. It's just a habit. Okay, let me back up and I'll play everything slowly up to that point, from the beginning, from the intro. Here we go. 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, that's where we are now. And to conclude this, I go. So let's learn that little turnaround. It's awesome. And you can use this turnaround. You can use any of these licks, but this is a good turnaround to put in your arsenal if you're ever playing a blues in the key of E. You can resort to this. So here's how we do it. We do a hammer on here on the D string, or the 4th string. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, so that we're back in triplet world. That's how we start it. There's the open D string then. Then the 5th string on the 2nd fret. Now watch this. Oh, by the way, I'm using my middle finger for this. And the reason for that is for here, I got to do this. So use your middle finger for that. Now from here, watch this. So that we go down to the 1st fret, 5th string, and do a pull off with my pointer finger. And then my middle finger comes up to comes down to the 6th string on the 3rd fret. And then I take it off and play the open 6th string. So we have. And then I come back and play, this is playing an E an octave higher. I play the E on the 2nd fret, 4th string. So you can hear those 2 E's ringing out. It kind of gives it a powerful sound. Now after that I go. And for that I'm doing a hammer on. I'm playing the 3rd string up here, and I'm just the open 3rd string or the G string. Then I hammer on to the 1st fret, 3rd string, and play that. And then after that I do the hammer on. I play the open 1 string. Now you may want to use your ring finger for that. See, I'm plucking that with my right hand, or you can pick it. Either way, if you're picking it, it'll be an upstroke. Alright, so that part goes. Now, we come to the B 7th chord. Let me show you that chord real quick. Middle finger down on the 2nd fret, 5th string. Pointer finger down on the 1st fret, 4th string. Ring finger down on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. And then I play the 5th, now that you've made the chord, I play the 5th string, and then I use my ring finger again. Some of you may want to use your pick, but to play the 2nd string, which is an open B string. You can see it's the same note. Remember and so you can see that's similar to what we just did. We did the E, now we're doing the B. So and the reason I had you make the chord, go ahead and make the chord instead of just playing like this, is I did and you'll see this on the tab, I did 2 strums of that chord, like this, like an up and a down. So right before we repeat and go back into the next part, or into part 2, it doesn't repeat, it goes to some different licks. So up, down, and then we're ready for the second half, and then I throw in a whole new set of conditions in the second part. All right, so that's part 1, and I didn't go through all the different patterns this time. I think that a lot of you are starting to put that together as to why the notes work the way they do. If you need further clarification, you can always just leave a comment on the page, on the Active Melody page, EP122, it's a lesson number, and I'll be sure to point you in the right direction. So, okay, let me back up. I'll play through this one more time, and then we'll move on to the second half. And that's what we have for part 1. I'll see you in part 2.